So the video is basically taken at an establishment on 7th Street in Malvo, Johannesburg, called Spilled Milk. So do get yourself here whenever you can. Spilled Milk, fresh shop, 7th Avenue.
Should I clap now?
Also, where am I talking?
Talk wherever you want to talk. Alright, action.
Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is Oksalayo, a YouTube channel that talks all things and everything music. And for our first video, we decided to go with a very interesting topic centered around hip hop. So there's a whole lot of things that are going to be coming up. So stay tuned and be ready. I'm with two people right here that I'm gonna let introduce themselves because I don't want to do a bad job. I've got 4 people. No, I got 3 people, guys. Your mess is not a thing. I got 3 people joining me, which makes 4 people on this panel to talk about this topic. So I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves. Yeah, man. Go ahead,
I'm Zama, hey.
Do you want to give anyone your Instagram handle though?
At Zama BMNGO. There's no underscore, there's no nothing. It's just Zama BMNGO. And on Twitter, it's Zulu Gustavo. Gustavo, as in Pablo's cousin.
This is Letu. I'm gonna be a frequent person here because it's my channel. I'm on Instagram, let_, like WHO. Sorry.
Luyolo. Unfortunately, don't have Instagram, but Twitter it's Luyolo, LUYOLO_KMPR. Yeah, that's it.
And then we got a camera man behind.
Camera guy. Yeah, and then we have a camera woman.
Hi, silent partner.
Okay, so let's get cracking.
Let's get cracking, guys. So let's drive this conversation with the first topic, I guess, that's centered on like what is the culture? Like, if you think of hip hop and hip hop in general, there's always this sort of aesthetic or culture that is surrounding it. So I just wanted to find out from you guys what is your ideas of what is the culture?
Well, like culture is a relative term. You know, it's centered around clothing, music, race. Race is a very important part of culture, and locations as well. So when we say culture, we need to not generalize the term because it's a very wide term. You know, because culture what? Culture clothing, culture race, culture music. What's exactly?
Because I think my ideas on that whole culture aspect is it gets confusing when people want to restrict a certain aesthetic that comes with hip hop. You know, so they've been telling you the culture is school for dreadlocks and taking tampons. That's the culture. So I feel like it also gets into a space where it refuses to open up for inclusivity. Where if you dress a certain way, you're not part of the aesthetic, so you're not part of the culture.
I think that's really because a lot of people already have like a certain idea of what hip hop is, of what hip hop should be. So now if you and then come in with your different idea of what culture is and then different way of expressing your idea of what culture is, then you see as someone who's okay, now he or she doesn't seem as though he's in full the culture, so yeah, he has no idea of what the culture is. So it's just like we already have an idea of what it is and we're rigid or like shifting.
Oh, we mustn't fool ourselves, guys. Culture is to a certain extent a certain space, and if some people fall out of that space, so we can't say now we're going to include everyone when you really don't, you know, especially with hip hop.
But then who determines that?
Exactly.
That's when we come in.
I feel like when you're speaking about culture and you're speaking about something that you assume is determined.
Yeah.
When we speak about hip hop culture, there's a certain idea that one considers hip hop culture. If somebody comes into the culture, someone comes into the culture with like black mascara and black eyeshadow and piercings would not be considered hip hop.
Lethumusa Mdhluli. What do you mean?
That's exactly what I mean.
But then a lot of people looked at Lethumusa, but they didn't necessarily welcome him as easily as we have liked to, because a lot of people are like, who's this guy in the skirts and in the all black, in the mascara?
And now Lethumusa Mdhluli is like one of the most in-demand artists in the industry right now. So who are we as, I guess, curators and speakers on culture to say what is culture and what is
What is
culture?
not? Yeah, I like generally also had that. I had those parts of like the word the culture and doing the culture, because then you have one body to answer to say that this is the aspect of, this is how we should behave, as this is how. Then you get those that will come and now generalize and stereotype hip hop in general, which is now becoming such a vast genre. Let's be honest. You got your alternative R&B still considered hip hop. You got your trap music is hip hop. You've got your conscious rap still hip hop. So I feel like it then that idea of there's a culture around hip hop made a thing of the people who are not really subscribing to hip hop as a genre would be like, oh yo, hip hop kibo yo yo school my nigga. You understand? So if you walk around and go yo yo school my nigga, generally that's all you listen to. That's who you are.
I get you, little, but now where do we draw the line between
Exactly, because
hip hop and then fake hip hop? Or old school, new school?
I think
Because you can't just, accept everything. It doesn't work like that.
yeah,
You
in
need
the
to
same
draw the
vein,
line.
there are people who will come in and be cancerous towards the culture.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they come in, they get their money, and then they leave.
okay, so what is the purpose of the culture in the first place? Let's just talk about it. Why do we need to have a hip hop culture in the first? Why can't you just be like, yo, I'm hip hop, I'm hip hop?
Identity in itself is important. In as much as it's harmful to say that the culture is one aspect and it is now different. When identity is important. I think if you identify as yourself as a hip hop lover, you are a lover of hip hop and listen to hip hop, then we can easily go and sit in such a discussion, say as lovers of hip hop music, we identify with the culture and this is how we talk. You understand? So I think in as much as culture can be harmful, you identifying to a certain aspect of genre or music is important in my field. I don't know how you feel about that.
I get what she's saying, but what you're saying is we need to dilute this whole hip hop culture thing. Right? Okay, I lost my train of thought. I had something very important to say, and I lost my train of thought.
I can piggyback off of what you said with regard to diluting culture. I think what it means to dilute depends on which era you're in.
Yeah.
In the 1980s, where gangster rap, for example, was predominant, if you came in with sort of softer raps and that became popular, that would have been considered diluting.
Yeah.
When you move into the 90s, where conscious rap becomes the in thing, where everybody is moving to move their bars and saying things and double entendres, then a person coming in only rapping about bling is considered to be diluting culture. In the 2000s, you have bling era, where if you come in with your
Conscious, whatever,
considered
boring.
to be so boring.
What are you trying to
So,
achieve?
what it means to dilute is very relative to where you are. I think when you speak about diluting, I think we're more speaking about oversaturation. I think something that I know happened with jazz is jazz sort of became oversaturated. Everybody was making jazz music, jazz records everywhere, and it sort of fell out of fashion because it's like every time you go out and do something and you try to listen to music, it's jazz music, you get tired of it.
Thing is, I understand. Okay, cool. The old heads will say, Lethumusa Mdhluli, Trippy Red, Lil Punk.
Man.
Lil Punk, right?
No problem.
Put respect on the name. Respect.
Lil Punk.
We definitely not getting his cosign.
Oh my god,
It's an
yo.
album from out.
Old heads, because there was a situation where J. Cole had a little, altercation with Lil Pump. And but they sat down and they spoke about it. And a few weeks later, I came across a video speaking about the actual term hip hop. And back in the 80s, there's a guy, I forgot his name. He wrote a hip hop gospel. It's in like a book. And he defined hip hop as he separated the two, hip and hop. Hip being in the times. I'm going to refer back to Nina Simone. Nina Simone said, you are not an artist if you know how to reflect the times. So if 2019 is all about screws, why not allow screws? Even though I personally won't listen to screws, but I'll allow it. And then hip being, you need to reflect the times, view with the times, be hip basically. And hop, keep it moving. We can't be stuck on MC Hammer. We can't be stuck on New York's.
Smith was once a rapper.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No.
Yeah.
Which on the Fresh Prince?
You know, the Fresh Prince was good.
Which is why I have like a problem with like the hip hop heads or the old rap heads having this idea that this current generation of music, this current generation of hip hop specifically, is not what it is.
Yeah.
And the reason I have a problem with this is because it just gives us this idea that hip hop should be stagnant. If hip hop was your MC Hammer like then it should be like that throughout, which is essentially something I don't disagree.
I'm sorry to jump in.
Yeah.
Does this then mean that we need to create a genre for each aesthetic or vibe of hip hop? If then the idea of the hip hop needs to be stagnant, hip hop needs to be conscious, then conscious rap is now going to only be known as rap, then screw music is only going to be known as now screw, and then they should no longer identify with hip hop.
I think
I'll refer back to this hip hop gospel thing,
Yeah.
and he was comparing the Black Beatles, Migos, and I forgot the name, but they're from the 80s. Not MC Hammer, but it was like three guys from back before Run DMC. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So Migos, Run DMC, and then they had two videos, so that means they compared two videos as in Migos when they're performing and Run DMC when they're performing. The whole point was to watch these people perform, have fun. Not necessarily think. What would you think when you're at the club?
Why would you?
Why would you think? Ask yourself, why would you think when you're at the club? But then when we go back to our own private spaces, that's when we're going to look at listening to the type of music you want, preference. But when you are together, I can't say, yo, DJ, stop that song, play some Kendrick, play some Frank Ocean, that type of thing. It's a wide thing. So we need to look at the similarities back then, because clearly the lyrical content is not the same. The playing, the hustle, black people dying, hoes, all that type of thing. So we need to look at the commonality of everything, that we want to have fun. They had fun, let's have fun.
Because I think touching on what you said, I was having a conversation with him at the time, and I was like, am I really ready to go pay money to watch an Earl Sweatshirt concert?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, am I really willing to go take my money and go listen to Earl Sweatshirt perform? Because in my space, like you said, Earl Sweatshirt is for me sitting down, walking angry, or sitting down and listening. Not just because he makes angry music, but because his music is for that type of space. So am I really ready to go and say, okay, I'm gonna go buy a ticket and listen to Earl Sweatshirt? Then I was like, but does that mean that I am not ready to support Earl as an artist if I just sit with buying his merch and sitting and listening to his merch at home instead of going in and investing my time to go see him perform live? Because at the end of the day, guys, when people go out and they say we're gonna make music, they're making music so that they can make money, right? It doesn't not necessarily also mean that now they're gonna be taking away the ideas that they have. Earl can go conscious and can go whatever rap that he's doing and still go make money with us having to go support it. Why must we now limit our having fun or going to a concert to Migos and Screw and
I think you see. I think that
Whatever
really
this is.
depends on the event itself, and by that, what do I mean? Essentially, isn't it you have your Oksalayo unlocks?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
they
yeah.
had Travis Scott, and I wasn't there. And just when I saw the videos, I won't lie, I had serious cases of FOMO because it really looked lit. And I personally am not that much of a Travis Scott fan. The following year, Chance the Rapper. I am much of a Chance the Rapper fan than I am of a Travis Scott. But then, when it had to come to the idea of me buying tickets, I was hesitant. And I feel as though it's just in terms of the environment and how the event itself is marketed. Due to there being a Travis Scott the year before, that hype idea of what Oksalayo Unlocks is, to me it created an idea of, okay, now when Chance the Rapper comes with these gospel songs, it's not to say I'm not a fan. I do love it. Yeah,
Are you sure?
I am a fan, but like, I just don't feel that's the proper environment.
Are you really a fan? That's
what I was
ask
about
yourself
to
the
say.
question, are you really a fan?
Yeah.
Because when Masego, the first time he came to South Africa, now he's frequent. He's basically a Casper. But anyway,
we're gonna have a conversation about that.
he's basically a Casper because he's always here.
Yeah.
But the first time he came through, his ticket cost about 500 rand, early bird. So late, it's 600 rand. 600 rand for a jazz artist who's not even established. But no, it's because I like him. And I feel like that's the type of music I want to listen to. And I'm willing to pay that amount of money to see this guy. So it's all about preference. When you use Oksalayo Unlocked and Chance the Rapper rather, and how he's going to be performing gospel songs. Are you really a fan? You should ask yourself that question. Are you really a fan?
Question. Does it make you less of a hip hop fan if you're not willing to invest all the way?
All the
Does
way
it
to-
make you less of a musical fan if you're not willing to invest all the way? Because I invested I had to hustle to go see Vince Staples when he said he's coming to South Africa. I was like, I am gonna sell my leg. I told a friend of mine, it's like I'm gonna sell a leg, I'm gonna sell a thigh, a kidney to go see this person. So I just was wondering, touching on her points, yes, sometimes you need to realize that the club is the club, going home is the home. Then the person that I'm preferring to listen to at home, am I really a fan if I'm not willing to go listen to that person in the club?
I think when you put it like that, it becomes less of a should we have subgenres and whatever, and it's more like what's your own personal preference. I think the thing about speaking about the culture and what is the culture, that conversation, it usually comes with the idea that you're sort of prescribing how people should listen to music and enjoy culture. And that's why I'm like, we shouldn't really have subgenres because self-segregation is a thing that happens anyway. I think the problem is that it isn't necessarily that the culture isn't diverse, it's more the culture that we're showing isn't diverse. Let me challenge you guys. What do you think about the culture in SA? Because we've been talking about Chance the Rapper.
I wanted to come back after she was like, Masego is basically a Casper. Like, why are we respecting Casper as an artist?
No. Me saying Masego is basically a Casper, I am referring to the frequent, he's always says basically always here, his new album we are mentioned, he's Africa, South
Even on
Africa.
Twitter,
Even on Twitter he's constantly talking about it. He's basically a Masego now, there's no Masego anymore. But coming back to South Africa, we are big. Comparing 2007 to 2015 until now.
2014 was lit.
It was too much.
2014 SA rap.
I don't
What
remember.
was 2014 the Casper Kusheshe?
Yes, it was Cash Time. Yes, it was
Karakara.
There was the
Yes,
launching of
2014
the
was
school
nice.
culture.
Yeah.
That was the launch.
Yeah.
Basically, hip hop took off from there. Started collabing with a lot of Nigerian heads. Oh, it was too much, guys. I don't want to even start on that. But anyways, yeah.
So I think generally on that, then I think it's easier for you to go and invest on the South African artists to say that okay, it's fine. I'll listen to you. Okay, now here's that juxtaposition that's popping in my head now. Once again, with a Casper, I always tell people this, and I don't know if I'm being the wrong person for doing this, but like I would generally listen to a Casper in a club. I would listen to Casper in a car walking, but I'd never have a Casper album on my phone.
Definitely.
And I want to know
Definitely.
if I the only person that feels this way, because at some point writing in the South African hip hop genre is like, where are you going with this?
Yes.
You know,
And
where
That's
you,
why that's sort of why I posed the question to you guys as to what does culture mean in the South African context, because the feeling that I get when I listen to a lot of like MTV and the radio is that American trap culture has sort of like led so much into what our hip hop is that it's almost like our trap is to hip hop what you save is to ShopRite. I know I'm making a very blanket statement when I say that, but the comparison is like, it's so jarring. It's like Black Cat to no name, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we're consuming name brand culture. So that's why it's sort of like a difficult conversation to have. I think it's easier on the international scale because even indie artists can make their money, and artists that are existing in the mainstream can make their money. When you come to South Africa, you kind of are restricted in regards to what you can.
But that's
And I think that is predominantly a reflection of us as fans.
consumers.
As-
Exactly.
Because I feel as though if you are an artist and you know that me portraying my feelings, me portraying my emotions, portraying my background is something that would sell. Because like guys, I feel like we should also consider the fact that these guys are trying to make money. They're trying to put bread on the table.
That's
not make
I
music.
think-
I beg to differ.
I beg
to differ because now if you look at us as a standard bank or an upside,
Yeah.
that's going to become a problem. Because first of all, you need to, I don't know, this is open for discussion, but
Yeah.
you need to first love what you do, enjoy it, and then we can talk about it,
Okay, cool.
right?
Yeah.
But if you come with the whole mentality that you want to make money, another thing is, you know why the reason South African artists can't make that much money is because let's look at our economy. Guys. How many people have YouTube? How many people can afford data? But that's another discussion. That's a whole different.
That's
And our
That's a whole
international
bunch of-
exposure, because American artists have international, so they're a wider variety of fans.
We'll
I
get there, just
think
not now.
Post Evans trying to make money, like how many people have YouTube, how many people. The marketing that comes with the brand of the artist on South Africa is really shady. I mean, like you'd hear of such awesome events such as Cotton Fest, amazing content. Finally, someone saying that I'm here for the hip hop community and this is for hip hop by hip hop. I looked at the entire lineup, not even one bomb artist to go and entertain the people there, right? It was nothing but hip hop. But the marketing for me was there, but it was not there. I found out about Cotton Fest in January. I turned to him, I was like, why am I only finding out about this now? He's like, they've been exactly. He's like, it's been going on since November. You know, he's been marketing since November, but I did not know.
I only knew about it because I was at the right place.
This
Right
also,
time, yeah. So I feel like we don't have these sorts of platforms such as people creating maybe fan accounts for particular artists to say that an artist is going to be performing here, this is what's going on. Artists in themselves are failing to put themselves in places where they let themselves be known to fans. Like a Questa will go at a UJ Auckland Park for 2 minutes, be like, hey yo, and leave. That's your opportunity, dog, to stand there and feel like, I'm opening up this kind of thing. This is the album that's going to be doing. This is what's going to be happening in this particular lineup. I'm going to be there. Then we're like, okay, fine, Casper's attainable. Questa's attainable. I'm going to go see that because I've got first-hand basis or information on it. So I was really disappointed at the fact that Content Fest was there and I only found out like only in January. So what is up with the marketing in South Africa?
I think this also goes
That's
to
a
record
whole
label
other
power.
discussion.
What is up with the marketing,
These
guys?
are entire discussions.
Yeah,
Gee, like,
because when you, I feel like
Ever since you moved in